So I know with Ohio being one of the most affordable states to live in the country, a lot of people who are considering relocating to Ohio will research different cities and metro areas in Ohio to see how different areas compare to one another.
What is going on in Ohio?
And that is exactly why I've been spending a lot of time on this channel trying to break down different cities in Ohio and seeing how they compare to the city that I reside in, which is Cincinnati, Ohio. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the town of Toledo, Ohio, and seeing exactly how it compares to living in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're getting into it right now. What's up, it's Victor Pham, your Cincinnati realtor. We are back again talking about all things Cincinnati. We're talking about all things related to real estate in Cincinnati. So if you're new to the channel and that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing so you don't miss anything new. If you're going to be buying or selling a home in Cincinnati soon and you need help with that, feel free to contact me as well. I'm helping people buy and sell real estate in Cincy and the Cincy suburbs all the time. I'm sure I can help you too. And remember, when it comes to houses in Cincinnati, you can always call Vic. Okay, let's start off talking a little bit about the two cities. Toledo and Cincinnati are about 300 miles apart, or roughly a 3-hour drive. Cincinnati being down here in southwest Ohio, and Toledo almost the exact opposite up here in the northwestern part of Ohio, right off the tip of Lake Erie, really close to the state of Michigan. In fact, you can get to some parts of Michigan from Toledo in a really short drive. Toledo does have a relatively flat terrain compared to Cincinnati, which is a more hilly city. If you watch more than a couple of my videos, you have probably heard me mention more than once that Cincinnati is a very hilly place, because for some people it can be one of the biggest cons of living in Cincinnati. Dealing with hills in the winter can be difficult, I'll tell you that. It's not for the faint of heart.
Oh, thank you, little roots. Please stay strong.
It can also affect things like the foundation of the home if it's built on a very steep hill, amongst other things. So for some, that is a factor, but not so much in Toledo because it is a much flatter place. Something both Toledo and Cincinnati have in common, though, is that they border a large body of water. As I mentioned, Toledo is at the tip of Lake Erie, while Cincinnati borders the Ohio River. The Ohio River stretches almost 1,000 miles across multiple states. Lake Erie near Toledo is almost 10,000 square miles of surface water with over 870 miles of shoreline. So these are pretty massive bodies of water located near these two cities. I mean, they're not ocean massive, but they're pretty big bodies of water, which I think can explain a little bit why both cities do get similar weather. You're going to get 4 seasons in both cities: spring, summer, winter, fall, cold winters, hot summers, snow, and rain. But actually, when it comes to precipitation, Toledo is the winner in the category of snow, averaging almost 31 inches of snow per year. Cincinnati averaging about 15 inches of snow per year. If you're talking about rainfall, Cincinnati wins that category with about 44 inches of rain per year. Toledo only about 34 inches of rain per year. But nonetheless, both Toledo and Cincinnati are very rainy regions. On the bright side, both cities do get close to 200 sunny days per year, which is about half the days in the year. Real quick, I want to tell you about my friends over at POWUR. If you haven't considered switching your home over to solar, you should definitely check out POWUR. One of the most trusted names in solar energy, homeowners save potentially thousands of dollars a year in energy bills, equating to sometimes hundreds of thousands over the life of their home. Unlike traditional electricity costs, solar energy provides a fixed, inflation-resistant rate, offering long-term financial security. Solar panels can also significantly boost a property's market value, a compelling selling point for many home buyers. And federal and state funding options are available, making the transition to solar energy even more accessible for the average homeowner. Use the link in the description to visit POWUR, where a professional sales associate will walk you step by step through the process on converting to solar energy. And if you use my link as a referral to convert to POWUR, they will give you an entire year of free electricity or an equal amount in a discount if you're buying cash. Take back your power with POWUR and make the switch to solar energy today. Let's get back into the video. Now, Toledo and Cincinnati also share pretty similar land masses and city populations. Both cities have land masses of about 80 square miles. Toledo's city population is 270,000. When you add in the surrounding suburbs, you get a metro population of a little over 600,000. Cincinnati's city population is a little over 300K, but has a metro population close to 2.3 million. So similarly sized cities, but I think the suburbs surrounding Cincinnati are much more vast than the ones surrounding Toledo, giving you a much larger population in the Cincy area than in the Toledo area. When it comes to things to do, neither city is lacking in that category. You have a long list of stuff to get into in both cities. Toledo, Ohio is known historically for their glass making manufacturing, considered to some to be the glass capital of the world. You can experience the art of glass if you visit the Glass Pavilion in the Museum of Art in Toledo. The Toledo Zoo is also a pivotal attraction as well. You also have several minor league sports teams to choose from, including the Toledo Mud Hens. If you're into baseball, Toledo also has a big food truck culture. You can find endless options of mobile food trucks from a variety of cultured foods. So if you're a food truck fan, the food truck movement seems as if it's not going anywhere in Toledo. Toledo is also no stranger to parks, providing over 10,000 acres of park space in the metro area, where you can surely find a place to walk, run, or bike. Oh, and did I mention 870 miles of shoreline yet? I think I did. I'm gonna mention it again. Yes, Toledo, Ohio has beaches. Being right off Lake Erie comes with its advantages. You can find numerous places to get some sun and enjoy a day at the beach in Toledo, which is so cool. I mean, beaches in Ohio, that's probably something you don't hear a whole lot about. Man, watch out, California. Ohio, you know, we coming for you.
How about new?
But really a lot of nature type stuff to get into, being right there by one of the Great Lakes. Toledo is a good location for really outdoorsy types of people. Now, if I compare things to do in Cincinnati, obviously we don't have beaches near Cincinnati, unless you want to lay out by the Ohio River, which is not that glamorous. So Toledo is crushing Cincinnati in that aspect. But the Ohio River near Cincinnati does have its advantages. The Ohio riverbank stretches pretty far through the Cincinnati metro area, providing some of the best fishing, boating, and camping areas in Ohio, found at various points along the river. Cincinnati also has one of the most popular and visited zoos in the country with the Cincinnati Zoo. Over 300 public parks to choose from, just about every professional sports team that you can think of, as well as a lot of interesting history to explore, which you can discover at several of the history or art museums, or just by taking a walk or drive through one of Cincinnati's historical districts and observing the architecture. If you check out some of the videos on this channel, I made a bunch of videos about things to do in Cincinnati. But I think overall, Cincinnati and Toledo have a lot of things going on, a lot of things to do if you're going to be visiting or moving to one of these two areas. One thing I do want to compare, and this is a question that comes up a lot in my comment section, is public transportation. How good are the public transit systems? Not everybody drives, so this is an important topic for people who are relocating and don't plan on driving when they get to their new location. The Metro bus line in Cincinnati, Ohio is probably the most common mode of public transport. The bus line does cover a decent amount of the metro area, essentially a 30-mile radius, so all the city is available for coverage, and it pushes out to some of the common suburbs outside of the city as well. But outside of the metro bus line is probably going to be Uber or Lyft for most people. Cincinnati is a pretty accessible place for rideshare. We don't have underground subways like the big cities like New York. So metro is going to be your best bet for cheap public transport, especially if you need it on a regular basis. For Toledo, the common mode of public transport is going to be the TARTA bus line, which extends through most of Lucas County where Toledo is located. There's also taxi and rideshare services available for Toledo residents as well. So both cities do have a pretty established, affordable mode of public transportation, if you're wondering. Let's move on to the cost of living in these two cities, which is one of the most important factors for people who are relocating to another state or city. If you are a buyer, Realtor.com says that there are at this moment over 900 homes for sale in Toledo, Ohio. The average list price being only $110,000. The average sold price is $125,000. In the city of Cincinnati, conversely, there are over 2,000 homes for sale right now, with an average list price of $270,000, average sold price $255,000. When of course we're talking about the city areas, but what about the suburbs? Many people who are relocating to another city or another state don't necessarily want to be anywhere near the inner city. Some people like being on the outskirts or in these suburbs outside of the city. Some notable suburbs in Toledo are going to be Waterville, where the average sold price is $325,000, and Ottawa Hills, where the average sold price is $249,000. So higher in the inner city, same things for Cincinnati, where some notable suburbs like Fairfield are, with the average sold price of $257,000, Liberty Township $355,000. The average rent for an 866 square foot apartment in Cincinnati, Ohio right now is about $1,300 a month. In Toledo, for an 812 square foot apartment, you're looking at about $900 a month on average. So housing in general is appearing to be much higher in Cincinnati than it is in Toledo, Ohio. So I'm probably going to say in general, Toledo is a cheaper place to live than Cincinnati. I guess it can vary based on your lifestyle, but the biggest factor is typically the housing for most people. That's what they pay attention to. Although the housing is much more plentiful in Cincy than in Toledo, it is pricier as well. If we look at the job market of both cities, Toledo has an average household salary of $53,000. Some of the top employers in Toledo are Nationwide's Children's, General Motors, the Anderson, Dana, and First Solar. So energy, automotive, and manufacturing seem to be strong industries in Toledo. And Niche says that Toledo is the #9 best place to live in all of Lucas County. If you're relocating to Cincinnati, Ohio for work, healthcare is going to be one of the top employers in Cincinnati. Retail and sales and manufacturing and warehouse work as well. The average salary in Cincinnati is going to be about $58,000 per year. Now for public schools, it's pretty close for both cities. Niche is giving both Toledo and Cincinnati a C+ for public schools. Both cities do offer pretty solid universities. The University of Toledo and the University of Cincinnati are very notable schools, amongst others in both areas as well. But public school and grade school wise, they seem to be pretty even on the scorecards. Here's a little data about the crime in Toledo, Ohio. Niche does give Toledo a C- for crime and safety based on violent and property crimes. In a poll given to Toledo residents asking them how safe do they feel in this area, 50% of people say pretty safe. There are some safety concerns, but I generally do feel safe. Only 8% say not safe. There are high safety concerns and I regularly don't feel safe. How effective is law enforcement in this area? 46% say the police are visible, but somehow respond slowly when needed. 7% say the police aren't around much, and when you need them, they aren't reliable. Cincinnati, Ohio, like I said, also given a C- for crime and safety based on violent and property crimes. How safe do you feel in Cincinnati? 58% say pretty safe. There are some safety concerns, but generally I do feel safe. 5% say not safe. There are high safety concerns and I regularly don't feel safe. How responsive are police? 50% say the police are very visible and very responsive. 9% say the police aren't around much and when you need them, they aren't reliable. And Ohio might need RoboCop or something.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
No, but these really aren't really bad ratings, honestly. Two good-sized metro areas. There's going to be crime. You're going to have to navigate that. Just weigh it out and make the best possible decision for you. I really hope this video helps if you are relocating to one of these 2 Ohio cities. If you're buying or selling in Cincinnati or any of the Cincinnati suburbs, I would love to help. Feel free to reach out to me. If you want to watch more videos similar to this one, check out the videos that should be popping up on your screen right about now. I will see you in the next video. And remember, when it comes to houses in Cincinnati, you can always call Vic.